When we talk about theories of criminology, we're delving into the complex web of factors that contribute to criminal behavior.
Today, we delve into the core objectives of criminology: understanding crime, preventing crime, and ultimately improving justice for all.
Criminology is the study of crime, criminals, and the criminal justice system. It is an interdisciplinary field.
So, the broken windows theory suggests that visible signs of crime create an environment that encourages further crime. But what about
Welcome to the South African Journey audiobook series. We're glad to have you with us. We hope this work.
Hello, my name is Chris Kenyani, a criminologist and forensic historian in South Africa. The African National Congress was never hijacked by criminals. It was founded on criminal intent. The Freedom Charter, often romanticized as a manifesto of liberation, was in truth the original blueprint for state theft, a deceptive document. The ANC is not broken. It is executing exactly what it was built to do: destroy a functioning society, loot it dry, and silence anyone who resists. This is not politics. It is organized national vandalism with a flag. Every collapsed school, every dry tap, every looted fund, every silenced whistleblower, every township drenched in poverty and fear, none of it is accidental. This is what the ANC was designed to do: dismantle functioning institutions, reduce the economy to rubble, and weaponize the state against its own people. It governs through confusion, incompetence, and fear, not because it cannot do better, but because chaos is the strategy. A stable country would not feed its greed. A skilled citizenry would not tolerate its lies. The more things fall apart, the longer it stays in power. This is not politics as usual. It is organized national vandalism wrapped in the robes of a liberation party. A parasite that drapes itself in the flag while gutting the nation from the inside. The ANC doesn't misgovern, it pillages. It doesn't negotiate, it threatens. It doesn't lead, it controls. It feeds off misery, thrives in confusion, and survives by silencing truth. And still, it chants power to the people while stealing everything from them: their hopes, their futures, their very belief that things can be better. Economic sabotage and the annihilation of private initiative. The ANC was not corrupted, it was corrupt by design. Its cadres were trained not in governance, but in subversion, infiltration, and ideological warfare. What we see today, the assassinations, the tender mafias, the bankrupt municipalities, the collapsing state, are not deviations, but fulfillments of its founding formula. The Freedom Charter. South Africa was not betrayed in recent years. The betrayal was encoded into the ANC's DNA. The Freedom Charter. I explore ethics, integrity, and the character of people in power through a philosophical lens. As an active member of CRIMSA, armed with an MBA in ethics and a rigorous undergraduate foundation in criminology, I represent a new frontier of criminological thought. I am a pathfinder, exposing truths and challenging dominant narratives through sharp, strategic writing, research documentaries, and bold insight. My brand of criminology goes beyond theory. I expose the criminal underbelly of government policy, institutional frameworks, and political behavior. I don't just study crime. I trace it to its source when the source is the state itself. Cadre deployment is not just incompetence. It is organized crime in a suit and tie, systemic looting camouflaged as governance. When the state begins to act like a cartel, the law becomes a tool of control, not justice. In such systems, criminality is legalized and justice is reduced to a theatrical smokescreen. I specialize in the uncomfortable truths. I track how power conceals plunder. I analyze how policies are weaponized to protect syndicates masquerading as public servants. My work as a criminologist begins there, at the structural level where injustice is legalized and power is unaccountable. I critique systems, trace the architecture of rot, and propose ethical, practical pathways forward. This is why I specialize in macro whistleblowing, because speaking out against systemic harm is a form of civic defense. This is Pathfinder criminology, not looking at who stole a car, but who is stealing the country. Because justice must begin where injustice is designed, not just where it erupts. The verdict on state governance, a criminological analysis of policy as a tool for systemic harm and the classification of state failure as a crime against its people. Cadre deployment as systemic looting. Cadre deployment is not incompetence, it's systemic looting disguised as governance. When the state acts as a cartel, criminality is legalized and justice becomes a smokescreen. Verdict: the government is a criminal syndicate that hides behind ideology. State crime perspective. Governments themselves can be perpetrators of crime. Forms like corruption, gross negligence, and economic mismanagement are crimes against the people. Direct consequences of cadre deployment: load shedding, water infrastructure collapse, public service failure, violent crime surge. Verdict: South Africa is not just mismanaged, it is under occupation by criminal rulers. Legal versus ethical. A court can rule on law, but it cannot be the sole judge of right and wrong. The legal ruling. There is no legal problem with chanting "kill the boer, the farmer." It falls under freedom of expression. The ethical stand. Even if it's legal, it is morally reprehensible. It corrodes the soul of the nation. It celebrates hatred, divides communities, and legitimizes psychological violence. The criminologist ethicist response. Some crimes wear legal robes. Some injustices pass through courts untouched. But law without ethics is a cold shell, and a captured court cannot be the sole judge of right and wrong.